Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Britton's Social Club. This is where we hang out on Sundays and we chill for a bit. Hope everyone's doing well. Uh, we're here today. This is where we hang out for a bit. We even invite people in. So if you want to join in, link is in the description below. If you'd like to join, it's open invite as always. So yeah. Speaking of that, we actually have someone in already. And that is Dennis M. Myers. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, honestly. It's just got back from church. It's pretty lazy Sunday now.
Mm. Yeah, well, I found myself watching Minecraft live stream all morning, and after it was over, I couldn't help but think that maybe I should do something a little more productive.
Yeah, I think I saw John was reading one of your books recently.
Yeah, he just got done reading Precipice, book two of the my first series, and he really enjoyed it, and he's looking forward to the third book, and I'm crossing my fingers and hoping he gets to that before the end of this year.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's man, I haven't read any of your books yet, so I don't know, but I've heard they're fun.
Well, it's
John likes
exciting.
them.
It's exciting for me because my third book, Broken Trust, that's my favorite book of the series. I mean, Broken Trust is my favorite, and then Stolen Dreams, the final book, is a very close second, and then Precipice and Final Assembly, which is almost exactly the opposite order they were written in.
Very nice, very nice. Well, hopefully your New Year's went well, Dennis.
It was quiet and uneventful.
Yeah, mine. My parents and I had a gathering of my family, so
Mm.
it was all fun.
Well, my son has a new girlfriend, and they went off to New Orleans for the weekend, and my daughter's up in Pennsylvania, and we were up there for Christmas. We just got back the week ago Monday.
Nice, very nice. Are you reading anything at the moment to start out 2026, or are you just kind of late?
Um,
Or are you just kind of taking a
I
break for a bit?
I just finished up a book by E.J. Isaacs. Let me get the
I don't know
name
if
of
I've
it.
ever heard of this person.
He's actually a friend of mine, indie
Oh,
author. It is called A New Beginning. It's an LGBTQIA military space opera.
oh,
The
very nice.
Unforgiving Stars, Book One. And I thought it was very interesting. It was a good start, and I look forward to following the series.
Yeah, I have what is it I have? Well, I started Anna Smith Sparks' book, A Sword of Bronze and Ashes, which is quite interesting. It's very surreal, is what I'll say. Um, and I also started. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I read a biography, but I got the biography of James Elroy that I'm reading right now. It's written by a guy I consider a friend, Stephen Powell. So that should be fun. It's quite good reading.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure what my next book is that I'm going to pick up. I've got what I do is I've got this TBR shelves, and I take them from the top left. But when I go up to it, I'll take like one of the first five or six books on the top left. I'll just look and see what's there, and then grab one. And then as the shelf empties out, I'll take books from the bottom shelf and fit them in on the right side. Just move things over. Then when I buy new books, they go onto the bottom shelf, with a couple of exceptions. Um, like for example, Christopher Rocchio's Sun Eater series. They
Mm.
don't even hit the shelf. They go right into my what I'm reading next pile. It sits next to my chair in the living room.
Oh, have you read the last one in that
I sure
series?
did.
What'd you
Yeah,
think of it?
I thought he stuck the landing. That is, he stuck the landing. Um, It was not what I would have written. I will say that. But then again, I like ultra happy endings. And he went for a satisfying ending and one that does leave the door open a bit for much, much more. Um, and he has already said he's going to write more in that universe, and I can see plenty of places he can go. Um, it
So
was
Hadrian does not get a happy ending, is what you're saying?
no spoilers, dude. Let me say this: Hadrian gets exactly the ending he wants,
Okay.
but it's not necessarily pleasant.
Well, if it's what he wants, that's his business, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, no, I don't want to spoil anything, but you want spoilery stuff, I can certainly chime in on that.
Yeah, no, I mean I haven't read any of them yet, so I don't know. I was
Oh,
kind of
it
waiting
is
for the hype to die
entirely
down.
it is entirely worth it. It is very dark, dark science fiction. If you've ever met Christopher Rocchio, he is one of the sweetest, nicest human beings. He looks like a cherub. He acts like an angel. He is just such a good, solid human being, and yet he writes the darkest, most sinister things. It's
Uh,
like,
Ida
woo!
Ida is here, and she asks, "Why does your name ring a bell? What books have you written?"
Rise of the Automated Empire is my first series. It's available on Amazon and anywhere good books are sold. Um, it is science fiction in the far future, and if you follow Wizards, the Andrew's Wizardly Reads, or Brian Bell at BellTube, or Talking Story with John and Jacob, they have talked about my stuff, and then a few other channels have at least shown my books. I am still trying to find my audience, but I get good reviews when I get them. My fifth book, Secret of the Ombax, is in the same universe, just a different time frame, different story. It's the start of a new series, and that book has been nominated and made the finalist list for the Webster Awards at RavenCon here in April, and I will be
Hello,
there.
Chadia. Hello, Ida. How you doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, though I did have him on my podcast a while back, so maybe you might recognize him from there. I don't know,
Well, that too.
but um, but yes, um, yeah. I mean, one of my goals this year is I want to read more science fiction and
Mhm.
crime. So maybe I'll sneak one of yours into the fold. We'll see.
Well, my first book does have a serial killer in it, so
Well,
there is the crime.
okay. There you go. All right.
Um, yeah, I'm working on others, and I tend to do the specific subgenre depends on what I'm writing exactly. Um, I
Isn't that
did
like
write one,
SFO for science fiction?
huh?
Oh, sorry, I was asking the comment. I got
Oh,
here
okay.
from Ida.
SPSFC. What's SPSFC?
I guess I think that's an award. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is.
It doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell. Um, yeah. So anyway, I've got other things going on as far as the kinds of books that I'm writing. I did write a book called Murdering Mariko, which is more of a spy thriller kind of thing, single point of view. Um, it's not published yet. I'm still looking for an editor. And then I've got a one called Murder on a Monochrome World. And that one, I'm again looking for an editor, but I've already got cover art for that one.
No, Ida. I got what you meant. I hear you.
Mhm.
I was just trying to clarify.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I've been really bad at keeping up with self pub. Though my favorite book of 2025 was a self published book, so There you go.
Well, keep in mind there's a category in between self-pub and traditional pub, which is small press. My first series was actually put out by a small press, Theogony Books, which is run by Chris Kennedy at Chris Kennedy Publications. He puts out a book a week, and they are primarily military sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't yeah, I haven't read oh god, what am I doing? Sorry, my hair's out of control. Um
What hair? I had to make sure to brush my eyebrows so I didn't do the mad scientist eyebrows to you.
No, yeah, like I'm gonna read one of the science fiction books I'm hoping to read this year. I don't know if you've read it, but it's The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester, or Tiger if you're across the pond.
No, I'll be
No,
honest with you. The vast majority of what I read these days are books by people who I know. I've either met them, um, well, yeah, or I've met them with very few exceptions. Um, and because I've been in the writing community for a while and I've met so many people, I've got 3 shelves full of books to read.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I know you're quite familiar with like classic sci-fi, so I just had to be, I had to make sure. But
Well,
yes,
I read mostly like Heinlein and Asimov, David Brin, Greg Bear, Anne McCaffrey, and just a whole bunch of authors like that. Andre Norton when I was a kid, Arthur C. Clarke.
I've
Um,
heard Andre Norton's good.
Andre Norton has some interesting stories. I hit on her, and I don't know. I read like 5 or 6 books before I ever found a picture in the back of a hardcover that showed, oh, this is a woman writing.
Yeah, I didn't know till not too long ago that there was a woman because it's pretty
Yeah,
gender neutral game
yeah.
or name. What am I doing?
It it,
We're
it
talking
really
about.
instilled in me very early that female or male author, it just didn't matter. If the story was good, the story was good.
I know that name. I don't know if we'll get to that. Another book I'm hoping to get to. I don't know if Kim Stanley Robinson's Red Mars, at least, if not
Hmm.
that book and that whole trilogy. And also Astounding, which is not a science fiction book, but it is a nonfiction book about science fiction writers, such as the guys you just mentioned, like Asimov and Clark and um,
Yeah.
uh, Heinlein and L. Ron Hubbard, of course.
Ha, ha, ha.
Because even if that guy started that thing, you kind of have to talk about him if you're talking about golden age science fiction. Unfortunately,
Battlefield Earth, I thought was a good story. The
really,
movie
I've heard
was
people say it's
horrible.
terrible.
Huh?
I've heard people say it's terrible.
No, the movie was horrible. The book was pretty good. I thought the book was interesting and engaging and had some interesting concepts. I mean, there's always something stupid in a book that you can just blow off and say it doesn't happen. But those are the people who say, "Well, light can't do that. Come out of a handle and stay straight." So lightsabers are impossible. So I don't like Star Wars. you know. But no, the movie Battlefield Earth just didn't do the actual story justice. Uh, in the movie, the bad guys looked like humans on stilts, which they were. In the book, they are big, furry, behemoths. Very, very different.
Well, speaking of indie authors, Joe Burns in the chat. How you doing, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
Actually, just recently, I don't know if you've read any of his Hybrid Helix books. I forgot if you have or not, but
No,
they're quite good. I read Shadow of Hyperion, which was very good.
heard of that. I've heard of that.
Bit more superhero fun stuff. Hello, Tharnal. How you doing? So we got the usual suspects coming in here. It's nice. It's nice.
It's cool.
Sorry to hear that, Joe. That's really unfortunate. No, what did but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna be reading some stuff, if you will. I don't know if you've read Astounding though. My friend Raph read it, and I'm finally like, you know what? I've been wanting to read that book for years. I'm gonna just say screw it and read it this year. So
I've never heard of a book named Astounding. I remember Astounding Science Fiction, the magazine, though.
well, I think that's where the title comes from. It's
Okay.
but yeah, it's basically the history of um some of the big players in science fiction. Probably not
Oh,
all of them,
okay.
because there's a lot of them, and just how odd they were. We'll just say.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about Isaac Asimov at conventions that, you know,
From all
I'm kind
accounts,
of
he
glad I'm
seems
never
like
going
the
to meet him.
most normal one out of everyone.
I, from what I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about Heinlein yet.
Well, I mean, nothing bad. He was just weird. Heinlein, anyway.
Well, hmm.
Um, which is
Heinlein was
what
actually,
which is what interests me so much about science fiction, as much as the fiction. A lot of the
hmm.
often eccentric personalities. It's kind of like comics. It's a weird place where people congregate and are like, oh, let's exchange ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Heinlein was my very first favorite author. I started on him early because of my
This is
grandfather.
true.
Yeah, which not to put too fine a point on it, but I was reading Heinlein when he was still writing.
I mean, that's fair. I started reading him long after he was gone. So I think the first story I read from him, I actually I had watched this film called Predestination, which is inspired by his short story All You Zombies, and I ended up reading All
Yeah,
You Zombies and was just being blown away by it.
yeah,
Hello, Kale, how you doing?
I love that one. To be fair, you're younger than my kids, and Heinlein died before my kids were born.
Oh
So
well,
yeah, he
you
was
gonna
out of the
do?
picture by the time you came by.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2026 and all the fun stuff that'll come out from that. Yeah. No, I'm
Awesome.
also hoping to read maybe I'm thinking about reading Mushroom Blues from Adrian Gibson. I don't know if you've heard of that, but uh,
What kind of stuff do you normally read? Are you like all over the place reading anything, or do you
I
stay with one
try to
specific?
read as widely as possible. I mean, there are the genres I like, like fantasy and science fiction and crime books and
Hmm. Hmm.
horror on occasion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like if I read just one genre all the time, I'd get pretty bored.
See, and I'm just the other way around. I started out just like you, reading anything and everything, and it dawned on me one day that there were so many good books out there, I would never be able to keep up. So I started focusing just on science fiction and fantasy, and there were still more books coming out. And this is just traditional publishing. This is before I discovered indie authors. And just traditional publishing, there were more good books coming out than I could keep up with. So I've been, especially in my Navy years, I'd pack 20 books away in my sea bag when I went to sea, and I'd read all patrol. So,
I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad gig, honestly. Unless the
what?
Japanese decide to attack in the morning.
No,
I'm
back then the
kidding.
bad guys
I don't think
still
you're
go
that
after.
old.
My favorite fantasy sci-fi. Oh my god, there are so many. Right now, specifically, my favorite science fiction series has been the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. It is amazing and awesome and incredible. So I'll stick with that one for the moment. But I also grew up loving Dune, and then of course Lord of the Rings. Um, I have enjoyed. There's a really good series out by Jody Lynn Nye. Starts with View from the Imperium, and it is tongue in cheek, funny, yet telling a good story. There's three of those books that I thoroughly enjoyed. So, and then of course, when I want to break from reality and just something to make me, you know, laugh and you know, uh, have to stop and clear my eyes before I get back in the book, I'll pick up something by John Hartness, one of his Bubba the Monster Hunter books. They are it's a 250-pound redneck goat monster hunter. Okay, he's it's just funny. So yeah, I read a variety.
Read Discworld.
Discworld, yeah, I read a few Discworld books. My favorite is um, Making Money, I think it's called. Um,
I don't think I've gotten to that one yet.
it's either The Money or Going Postal. One of those two was just really hit me like a really interesting discourse on how money flows and pools and things like that. I thought it was very fascinating.
Um, I mean, my favorite fantasy novel is American Gods, as many of you already know. My favorite science fiction novel, that's hard actually. I don't there's so many I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's hard because for me, the favorite changes as to what I've read most recently.
Not really a novel, but I'll go with the Martian Chronicles. Really love
Oh
that book.
yeah, Martian Chronicles I read very early. That was very impactful on me. Ray Bradbury is amazing.
Yes. he was um he was truly a very remarkable creative.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think his best book is Something Wicked This Way Comes, but I really enjoy the Martian Chronicles quite a bit. Oh,
Mhm.
Liam's here.
Yeah.
He says
Book of
Book
the
of
New
the New
Sun.
Sun.
That's actually one that I haven't read yet. It is on my maybe someday list.
Yeah, no, I've been kind of I bounced off of Gene Wolfe twice. Like I read one of his like later books where I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then I read The Wizard Knight. It was the Knight, I think the first one was, which funnily enough, I was actually reading with Liam. I'm like, this looks great, this looks like something I would enjoy. And then I couldn't meld with it. Maybe like if I get around to Book of the New Sun, I can finally go like, yes, I have my eureka moment, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have like a transcendent moment, like in the burning bush moment.
Yeah. I read something. I think it was Gene Wolfe. I read something of his way back in high school. But then I found Frank Herbert and a couple of his books that were just as mind bending. Just before I found Dune, and Dune just hooked me from start to finish. I still remember coming home and I had just gotten a copy of God Emperor of Dune. I was in the Navy at this time; it had just come out, and really just dug into that book and just absolutely loved God Emperor. It's still my favorite of the series.
Yeah, no, I read Dune in 2020. Then I got really depressed and stopped for a bit, and then I went back to it and completed it. Um, yeah, it's one of those I respect it more than I like enjoyed it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're looking for a book to thoroughly enjoy and make you feel good, I don't think Dune is the series for that. Neither
Well,
is
no,
Sunshine,
yeah,
for that
yeah.
matter.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I did a review of it a while back, and I still stand by what I said in that video. But it was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I didn't know if it was. I was kind of frustrated because it's like, okay, are you trying to be a pulp adventure, or are you trying to be like this philosophical thing? And
So he's trying to shove down your throat the idea that heroes are not necessarily the good guys. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he, Paul Atreides is not the hero. And Dune Messiah is where he really puts the nail, hits that nail into the board, where he has presided over a genocide and just slaughtered billions of people.
Yeah, I was about to
Uh,
say, doesn't he have like a jihad or something like that? Because they use a lot of like
yeah.
Islamic terminology.
Oh, sure. In the later books, you get to understand that the Fremen were from, I think, Sunni. I want to say Sunni, and then there was a Shia version of something. So it's
Oh,
very
is that
much tied
right?
into that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember watching the movie and just kind of going like, "Yep, this is about kind of with the this is kind of how I felt with the movie as well, or felt with the book as well." So I mean, I'd say
Mm.
it's a good adaptation.
Yeah, my experience with the movie is the understanding that this is the third visual attempt at telling the story of Dune, and they still haven't given me my favorite book, which is book number 4.
Um, I've heard the Demolished Man is good. I know that I think that was the first Hugo winner, if I remember correctly, because I watch Thomas at SFF 180. He doesn't post as much at the moment, though I do hear he's making a comeback. Um, he was doing the Hugo. He was reading all the Hugo winners a few years ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
one of the books he read was The Demolished Man, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But yeah, going back to Dune, I have a I just kind of had a hard time with it at points.
Well, I think the new movie, the two movies that have recently come out, do a really good job of translating it for the big screen. And the fact that they got Jason Momoa to be Duncan Idaho, I think was a really good move considering he's the main character for like the next 5 books. Um, you'll see him come back in Dune Part 3, and how he comes back is important to the story.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I've heard that. I thought one of the like good parts of the movie is when he like sacrifices himself, and you're like, no, not
Mhm.
that guy.
Yeah, no, that's very much integral to. There's something else going on, an undercurrent, something else going on, and it comes to a head in. I think it's in Dune Messiah. Yeah, I think it's in Dune Messiah where uh, his basically they clone him, and he's not him, but he doesn't have his memories, and that whole interplay of what happens with that new creature. Yeah, it is pivotal to how the series progresses, especially through God Emperor of Dune, and then you
Mm.
get into Heretics and Chapter House, and then the
So
last two
what is the
books.
third movie just going to be like Paul killing a shitload of people? Is that what it's
No,
about?
the I think the third movie is going to be Dune Messiah and Children of Dune, which is the end of the Jihad and the end of his of Paul's reign and the birth of his children. I have heard that they've casted older actors, like young adults or late teens, to play the children, which means they're going to be going into Children of Dune, the third book, as well. So that'll be interesting to see how far they go with that. He might be trying to do both books in one movie. Personally, I think that's a mistake, but it's his movie. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I heard like one of his ancestors becomes like a worm person. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's his son, Leto II, and he is the God Emperor of Dune of Book 4.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
So, what do you think of the Brian Herbert Dune books? You think they're worth anything, or you think it's crap?
they are decent. I mean, okay, Frank Herbert was great, and he was trying to sell a message. The Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson, their books are good, They're not really trying to give a message. They're just trying to tell good stories. So if you can separate that and then go on with the stories, I thought the Machine Crusade, the Butlerian Jihad, and the Battle of Corinne were an excellent trilogy that set up the final books in the main series that they wrote. I know a lot of people think they're crap, but look, you don't have to read them. You
Yeah,
do
no,
not
I
have to
like how
read.
Joe just without hesitation just goes crap.
Yeah, you don't have to read it. But if you do, you get more flavor to the universe because Herbert left notes, and they're working off of his notes. Um, and then they're going beyond, and they're creating more for this world. That you know, if you don't want more, then don't participate. Me personally, I haven't read everything, but I did read that first trilogy and enjoyed it, and I've read a few more here and there. I have seen the Sisterhood series, which is based on some of their work, and I enjoyed that on HBO Max. Uh, that was an
I watched the
interesting
first
series.
episode and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's not an action adventure story, and then you're used to seeing action adventure on the screen. I get it, you know.
I mean, that's fine. I just thought it was kind of whack.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, a lot of my favorite science fictions, like like H.G. Wells, like Time Machine, great
sure.
book. Visible Man, really good. I actually read The Island of Dr. Moreau for the first time
Okay.
last year for a class, which was quite fascinating.
Mhm.
Because I was reminded a lot of Perdido Street Station, particularly with the body horror elements.
Mhm.
I could definitely see him taking ideas from that book to use for his remade that he has in the Baz Lag books. And
Right.
surprise, surprise, I looked up his his like top 10 weird fiction books, and one of them happened to be The Island of Dr. Moreau. So I'm like, you know what? That doesn't shock me at all.
Right. Right.
I
Mm.
also like Heinlein. I have a real soft spot for The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. So there you go.
Moon as a
Um,
Harsh Mistress was one of the founding pillars of what I envisioned my moon. Basically, it's Moon as a Harsh Mistress plus several hundred years. Um, it is that was one of my favorite books. In fact, I read Moon as a Harsh Mistress after I read The Rolling Stones. And at the end of Moon as a Harsh Mistress, there's a character, a young girl named Hazel Mead. And when he says she married the Stone brothers, I suddenly realized that was Hazel Stone, the grandmother from the Rolling Stones. And
yeah, yeah.
suddenly, the idea of two books in the same universe with a shared character, it just that left an impact on me, and that's kind of like how my writing is going to progress. When I write a new story, it's going to be in the same universe, so there's going to be little elements of connective tissue even if it's a completely different story.
Yes. Hello, Mac. How you doing? Glad to have you here, my friend. Um, yeah, I also really liked the I Robot original short stories. Those are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Childhood's End is one of my favorites.
Have
Um,
you read Caves of Steel?
no, haven't gotten
caves
around to
of,
that.
Caves of Steel starts a series of books with R. Daniel Oliva, and he is a robot that appears in a lot of his other works, and that Caves of Steel and the Naked Sun, I think
Mm.
it's called, and I forget what the third one is. But that those books all lead into the Galactic Empire series that culminate with the Foundation. And when you get to Foundation and Earth, our Daniel Oliva is there again.
Also, I think Stranger in a Strange Land has a lot of um I think it has I think it has a lot of interesting things to say about religion and free love Even though
Yeah.
I was talking with my friend Joanna, and she showed a sequence from it that she found objectionable, and I'm like, I'm not saying all of it's great. I'm just saying I find it quite fascinating.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that book in some of the mind opening ideas. Um, yeah, it's interesting. If somebody finds something objectionable in that, I would have to say it's probably their preconceived notion of what should be and shouldn't more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are people who cringe when an author has two men kiss or something. Um, sorry, that's based on real life. Um, but I mean, even Heinlein had in his books, he had gay characters there. He even had a trans character later on.
Yeah, I haven't read any of his books after I haven't read any of his books after Stranger in a Strange Land, because I've heard it gets really freaking weird.
No, I didn't find that at all. Moon is a Harsh Mistress, Rolling Stones, Red Planet, Starman Jones, uh, Time Enough for Love is his big epic with Lazarus Long, which is basically a series of short stories wrapped in an overall story of the old man who at first wants to die.
Um,
I think at the point of Number of the Beast is where he expands his universe to include everything ever written, which gets weird. Um, and the books after that maybe too much for you. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Incest kind of creeps me out, you know. Then again, I love A Song of Ice and Fire, so I mean, but to be fair, George R. R. Martin isn't saying that's a good thing, so
Yeah,
some wiggle room there.
yeah.
um, yeah, I saw on Goodreads you finished Discovery, Joe. I'm glad to hear it. I thought it was a really I quite enjoyed it myself when I read it.
Yeah.
Almost 10 months ago now. It's crazy, but
For a first novel, I think they hit it out of the park. I'm very much looking forward to the second book of Strange Eons.
yes, it was very assured, I thought.
Yeah, they I felt a story that took me to places I'd never been before, and that's what I love most about reading science fiction and fantasy is I want to see something I've never seen before, and they did that.
Oh no, not at all. And I'm not saying like he should. I'm just saying there's some of it where you're like, that's just. I'm
Yeah,
just speaking for myself personally. I'm not trying to. I kind of view Heinlein as like a Joe Rogan type of figure, where it's not. He was quite fascinated with ideas, and he wasn't afraid to explore ideas people thought were,
yeah,
uncomfortable, which I appreciate. I think we need
yeah.
people like that in our world. Because like I know a lot of people call him a fascist because of Starship Troopers. I don't know if necessarily he felt. I think maybe he felt that society might be good, but it's not really a fascist society if you actually read the book and you
Well,
know go
I,
through it.
I wrote a story, and part of it is from the viewpoint of a serial killer. Now, I'm not a serial killer, but I wrote a pretty scary one. Just because he wrote about a fascist society and how it would work and the good and the bad about it doesn't mean he wanted a fascist society. He was actually quite libertarian.
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to say
but
one of his quotes. Like, if you want like an idea of his actual politics, you should just read "Moon is a Harsh Mistress."
yeah, yeah, I think Moon as a Harsh Mistress is a more accurate depiction of his political leanings.
Yeah, I was. Joe, if I put that on Twitter, it would probably explode. It would cause like the flame wars would just be horrific. It would be
Mm.
D-Day out there. It's but no, yeah, I mean I've had arguments about Heinlein before. It's, what are you gonna do? It's
Yeah,
there's some people who There's some people who have their opinion and they're gonna stick to that opinion, even if what they're saying there's a lot more nuance than what you'd expect. So I don't know.
Me personally, I would rather read an author who puts uncomfortable ideas in paper and acts like a human, like a decent human being in person, than somebody who puts cool ideas on paper and acts like an asshole in real life.
So
And
like L. Ron Hubbard.
I was actually thinking Neil Gaiman.
Oh well, yeah, well.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I don't know what Robert Heinlein was like, aside from, I'm sure he was
In
an all right guy. I don't know.
in the author community, he has a reputation for being very generous and very supportive. Um, but that's all I've ever really heard about him.
But even then, like I think they're allowed to vote. It's been a long time since I've read Starship Troopers, so I mean, I could be wrong on this.
Yeah, in Starship Troopers, he's not promoting fascism. He's just showing what it would be like in this situation. The same with George Orwell writing 1984. He's not promoting an authoritarian.
Yeah, but like George Orwell was more clear that like this is a bad thing. You don't want this,
Well, I don't know. The character ends up happy in the end.
No, no,
right?
but
At least he'll tell you.
going back to Heinlein, I think he's a very misunderstood writer, is what I'm getting at. Even from seasoned science fiction aficionados.
The other lesson that I learned from Heinlein, which was very, very important to me, is that Heinlein didn't make enough money on his science fiction books to pay the rent.
Mm.
So he actually wrote Harlequin romance novels under another name in order to pay the bills.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. That is one of the things that you learn when you start studying authors. It does not pay you a lot of money.
Yeah, you have to be like you'd have to be like a J.K. Rowling,
Yeah, but look at what her audience was. She wrote for young kids, tweens, and young teens. Her books are aimed at an audience that will feverishly follow a series. And there's a lot of kids out there, and parents will buy the books for them unless they're, too religious to accept that magic can be a fun story plot or story idea.
What's funny? I was actually talking about that yesterday on a chat I was having with some friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter and Christianity. I'm just like, I remember my grandma, who's as a religious as a lady as you would ever meet in your life. Like, she's basically like that religious grandma you see in, like, I don't know, in a movie. And even she was like, "Oh, that's just silly."
Well, I'm of an age where I lived through the Satanic Panic.
Oh well, that's
and Satanism was everywhere, and D&D was a cult, and all of this horrible stuff. Now, as a role playing gamer, I knew from experience that D&D A wasn't a cult and B had nothing to do with Satanism. But because of the magic role playing and all of that, it's demonic. It's,
people are weird. Like, I read a book called Seduction of the Innocent, which was by this guy called Friedrich Wertham. If you're a seasoned comic book fan like I am, you probably know what this is. Where he was basically talking about how comic books were corrupting the youth and making them, commit crimes and whatnot, because EC Comics had these super gnarly really like even today you're like, holy shit,
that's how the comics code came about.
And then Wortham's like, oh yeah, and then people were like, oh, let's do the comics code, which basically grabbed the comics industry in America by the balls for, like, good lord, maybe 40 years before.
It's only recently gotten away from that. I mean, oh my god,
before, like, people like Alan Moore showed up and were like, you know what, let's ignore it. Even though they were already ignoring it in the 70s, like, Stan Lee's like, I don't want to do this. Let's do a story about drug addiction. because he was Stan Lee and they couldn't say no to him.
Thank God.
Yeah, no. My point being, people are weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a serial killer doesn't decide to be a serial killer because he read a story about a serial killer. It's already on his mind.
Yeah, he has other things probably going down in his head than, oh, I read this comic book once, I'm gonna go shoot somebody. No. Though, to be fair, if we didn't have the Comics Code, we probably wouldn't have gotten Mad Magazine, which is fantastic. So, silver linings, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. My point being, people are weird, and yeah, that's that. Even nowadays, people are like, "Oh, rap music, right?" Or those. Oh, what are people freaking out about now? It's like video games now. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, for me, rap music has always just been like disco chant, but then you'd have to know what disco was.
Yeah, no, I read it. I'm like, this is really ridiculous, and I'm kind of shocked people believed this. But when you've lived for almost 25 years, you realize.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Dennis is like, oh, you think you're fucking old? Get out of here.
Like, dude.
She's probably thinking, buddy, you haven't even seen it yet.
50 is so far in my rear view mirror. I mean, sorry.
No, it's just, it's funny. There's a new book that came out recently from the guy who did The Goon, called Eric Powell, and this other guy named Harold Schechter, who did a really good book, which I actually have right here, called Did You Hear What Eddie Gein Done?, which is a really good sequential summation of events of the life of Ed Gein, the rather infamous serial killer / grave robber. And they actually did a book about Friedrich Wertham recently, which I would like to get to at some point, because if you read his backstory, he was a really interesting guy. Like he was a advocate for desegregation. He was one of the earliest people who really realized, like, oh, serial killers happen for a reason. They're not just like evil demons who come from hell. Like he studied Albert Fish, for instance, but then he got caught up in this comic book craze and became infamous among many comic book fans. Which, fun times.
It's been a little while since I've read any comics. The last time I picked up a new comic was just when I read a headline, "They turned Superman gay." And so I started reading the Superman Son of Kal-El, which, no, it's not Clark Kent, it's his son, and he's not gay, he's bi. But still, it was an interesting story. But that did lead me to read some of the earlier stuff, the Super Sons, when Jonathan, he's younger, and he teams up with Damian Wayne, which, so here's Jonathan Kent. He's a country kid. He is optimistic and enthusiastic and just starting to come into his powers, and very naive. And he's teamed up with Damian Wayne, who, if you'll recall, was a trained assassin, and he's got a very different view of the world. And the banter between them is so funny. It's a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed that series.
Yeah, I've been more picky with what like comic books from like Marvel and DC have picked up, though. I have been quite enjoying the Ryan North Fantastic Four run that came out recently, because I mean, if you like some good old fashioned, pulpy sci-fi stuff, like, oh my god, like it's all over the place.
Well, I stopped reading comic books for two reasons. One, financially, they just grew to be too expensive, and then there's too many books you have to read to keep the story straight. And then the other is every time I turn around, I realize when I started reading Spider-Man, Spider-Man was older than me. Spider-Man was in high school, and I was still in elementary school when I started reading Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this kid is now, I mean, he only got his PhD recently because somebody else took his body to finish his college exams.
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, he's still a young man. I don't think he's even hit 30 yet in however they count their years. Um, so yeah, I just we're
I mean, there are other comics in Marvel and DC, believe it or not.
oh sure, there's plenty out there. Absolutely. I read the whole first run of ElfQuest.
I
Really
haven't read
enjoyed
that
it.
one. I've heard that one's quite good.
It is amazing. Very much worth a read. The artwork, the artist and the writer are a husband and wife team
Hmm.
from Virginia, actually, and they are super good.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched a documentary from some years ago because there's this
mhm,
group I follow called it's called Sequart. I think it's very much a play on sequential art, which is a term that Will Eisner came up with.
mhm.
But it's basically about women in comics, and Wendy, I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Yes,
Piney, I don't know.
Peony.
Peony, yeah. She was in it. So
Yep.
talking about ElfQuest. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of fun. And my friend, one of my friends, his name's Alan. He read a novelization of ElfQuest, and I'm like, why don't you just read the comic? It's not like Marvel and DC where you have to like get a bunch of runs. You can just pick it up. And he's like, yeah, I don't wanna. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, fine. I'm just I'm just chilling, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Dan Slott ever since he blocked me on Twitter because I said that Chip Zdarsky probably would write a better Fantastic Four than he did, and yeah, I guess he didn't like that. So there you go.
When you
Kind of
insult
swore.
people online, they do have the right to block you.
Yeah, I was about to say I kind of swore off his work after that.
Mm,
Though, what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Yeah, I generally pay more attention to like writers and like characters nowadays because like, oh man, you don't know who you're gonna get. When you read certain. I block you for that too. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve to get blocked, but
See,
I'm
the
just
thing is,
saying.
you should have told the other guy, not him. If you told the other guy would have said thank you, you know. But you told the wrong person.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I'm not saying I didn't deserve to get blocked. I'm just saying it happened.
Yeah.
No,
Just
it's
what I find to be more helpful in dealing with people is just tell them what you liked about their work. You know, even if you have to say, that's an interesting use of a plot point.
Yeah, it was real funny. I on Goodreads, I read I decided because Christopher not Rocchio, it's Christopher Paolini, the dude who did Aragon. I'm not a big fan of Aragon. I think Aragon's really dumb. But I
Hmm.
decided just kind of for the laughs, I decided I would see if I could friend him on Goodreads and see if he would get back with me. And he did. He did friend me back, and I haven't emailed him or anything because I'm like, I don't know what I would say to this guy. But I'm like, I'd be like, hey, I kind of friended you as a joke. Good to have you on here.
Artists, authors, and artists are just people, dude. We're just
um,
people.
Good sword fighter though. I don't know if you're on Twitter, Dennis, but
No,
there was a pretty sick video of him and Chris Verrocchio dueling at a con.
yeah. Twitter to me always seems like a kid's toy, and then just a lot of nasty kids took it over. So I never wanted to play in that one.
Hey, that's fair. I'm just too much of a stubborn bastard to leave. So I mean, I get you on that, but yeah, no,
Yeah. And I like Discord better because I can control my crowd, who's on my Discord. If I don't like you, I can boot you.
It's
But
be
we
like
get a nice
Dennis Myers
conversation.
sucks, and you just kick him off.
Yeah, I saw you had a Discord. I was thinking I might join that. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. I'm really bad at keeping up with it, but I do have one, and there's people who share it on theirs, and they're very nice people.
Well, I've got a
I
Discord too, and it's open to anybody right now. So, yeah, I'm just trying to start a conversation, get things rolling. I haven't had anybody really want to talk about my books yet, but most of the people who read my books are not on Discord. So, what can I
Oh yeah.
say?
Well, I did see he shared. One of the people shared. Ori is his name. Shared. Philip K. Dick Festival. Probably not be able to make it, but Philip K. Dick's one of my favorite writers as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Bring all the weirdness.
Well, I'm going to be a guest at RavenCon this year, and the guest of honor is David Brin, and I'm beside myself with anticipation.
I was like, don't worry, the readers will come. Yeah.
Oh yeah, lead the way.
Hey,
Yeah.
you should check out this guy. He's kind of this, older guy that I know. His name's Dennis Myers. He has some pretty good books out there.
Yeah.
I haven't read them though, so please don't take my please don't take my advice just yet. But
Talking story.
they look fun though. I mean, I haven't read them yet, but they look
they're
fun.
in their latest weekly reader. There's actually the last two major videos they did. John talked extensively about my second book, and then if you go back a year, you can find the stuff where he talked about my first book. And it's the stuff's not for everyone. I'll admit that up front, but I didn't write it for everyone. I wrote them for me. I wrote them as stories that I enjoy, and I enjoy a little bit more complexity, moral ambiguity, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
Even my
I'm trying to
serial
get.
killer is doing what he's doing because he thinks he's helping people.
Oh well, it's. That reminds me of something. I remember there was some. I think it's actually Victor Zaz who does he thinks he's releasing people when he kills them, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, but yeah, no, but yeah, I saw John and them were talking about your book recently, so yeah, that was cool. I'm like, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah,
He's a good kid, even though he could be my grandfather, probably. I don't know. Or my dad. I don't know. I mean, definitely my dad.
Oldest grandson is in first grade. I'll just say
okay. Well, all right. All right. I'll say dad then, because
my kids are in their late 30s now. So
my parents had me pretty late. So there you go. I'm just kind of. Yeah. No. See. Looking at books that are coming out in 2026. Nothing really looking interesting, at least at the moment. Red Winter.
I have one that I have a cover for, Murder on a Monochrome World.
You know what? I might add
It is functionally complete, except it needs editing. I will be doing a fundraiser of some sort, probably closer to the spring, in order to get editing done for that book. And as soon as it's done, that will come out this year.
It's based on the Beast of Gavanal, which was allegedly real werewolf. It probably wasn't a werewolf. It was probably just a real wolf. And, those villagers, they get all superstitious.
I understand the popularity of those sparkling vampires, but that's not the flavor I prefer. How's that?
Matt Denneman's coming out with a new thing called Operation Bounce House.
Yeah, that's already out, I think. And if you haven't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, you're doing yourself a disservice. That is one of the most fun and entertaining books I have read in many years. He really did a good job. It is lit RPG, but the RPG aspects are built into the story in a way that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who like that one. I'm like, I don't know about these lit RPGs. I kind of just want to go play a video game. You know?
The only reason I read Dungeon Crawler Carl is because I met Matt Dinneman, got to hang out with him a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. Otherwise, I would not have touched Lit RPG either. And I assure you, the Lit RPG portion works with the story so good you don't even feel it. It's not like an Lit RPG book you might expect. This one works with the story, and it is highly comedic. It will make you laugh out loud, especially that.
Wait
Oh
a
my
minute,
god!
Joe. Is that the guy who wrote the Sam Adams books? He's a cool guy. I had him on my podcast a while back. He's a good dude.
Vampire should sparkle only once and then turn to dust. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Emily St. John Mandel's coming out with a new book called Exit Party. Nice, nice, nice. I didn't know she was coming out with a new book. I quite liked her book. Damn it. Station 11. That's what it's called. Which, even though it was kind of hipsterish, I'll admit, felt kind of like that, guy who wears the, beanies and thinks that's cool. It's basically that kind of thing, but it was pretty good, actually. I thought it was quite good. Even though I generally don't like hipsterish things.
One of my favorite.
I read Calvin and Hobbes, and you're like, oh my god, what are you talking about?
One of my favorite television characters can't walk by a fez without putting it on.
The only people who make fez work is the Doctor. All right, that's
the character.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Right.
Well played. John Meacham, who wrote the Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power book, is coming out with a new book called American Struggle. Should be fun. I mean, I wish I could be Steve Donahue and just write about books for a living and just read books all day, but that just I'd feel kind of lazy after a while, probably. I don't know. Who cares about the rest? Well, a lot of these books don't really look that interesting, man. Well, I'm just being facetious. I haven't read Calvin and Hobbes. I've only seen a couple of panels, and they look good. I'll have to read Calvin and Hobbes at some point.
Britton, let me just say this. If you ever find yourself feeling a little bit down and just need to pick me up, try Dungeon Crawler Carl. Just read the first couple of chapters, and if you don't laugh out loud, be done with it. I'm just saying. Okay?
I'm sorry, Demetri. I didn't mean. I was just kidding. I was just kidding about Calvin Hobbes. I haven't read it.
Calvin and Hobbes was epic, and
hold on.
That and Dune and Bloom County were my two favorite comics as a kid.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because Bill Watterson, the guy who made Calvin and Hobbes, just kind of was like, "All right, I'm done. I think I've said all I need to say." Now he kind of lives by himself and paints now. He put out a book a few years ago with this other guy, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like that's interesting. I'll have to read it at some point because Calvin Hobbes for me, it's like that one comic that people who don't usually read comics, they'll read that one for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they'll just read that one. I'm like,
there was a follow-up strip that lasted a few issues. It was a limited run thing that another artist did, Bacon and Hobbes. It was Calvin's daughter Bacon, and he had married Susie, and they'd had Bacon, and it was touching, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice wrap up to the series. I don't know if Watterson had anything to do with it, though.
Yeah, I you know what? Actually, no. I read the last little issue or little cartoon where he's like, "There's a whole world out there," and he,
yeah.
Which I'm like, I'll have to try it out. But yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, in terms of newspaper comics, I'm quite a big fan of the Peanuts. Love the Peanuts. I heard they actually just put out a new omnibus recently, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta
Yeah, I was more of a fan of theirs before they started selling insurance. It's kind of like, they're just
Yes, this is what Charles Schultz wanted.
no, no.
George Saunders is putting out a new book. I did see that. I added it to my list.
Mm.
Jeanette McCurdy. Nice. Okay. Not really any books that are that interesting. I know China Mieville's putting out a new book. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be a chunker though, because my God.
Well, if you're ever interested in more indie press, check out Falstaff Books. They do a wide variety of interesting stuff. And if you like military sci-fi, more adventure stories, check out Chris Kennedy Publications. Those are two of my favorite small press.
Yeah, well, some of the small press I've read like my friend Curtis Lawson. He works with these guys called Weird House, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And they mostly do like weird horror, Lovecraftian stuff. And
yeah, I've heard of them.
They did Black Heart Boys Choir, which is an excellent book. Not just saying that because I know the guy, but it's really good. So,
well, I am saying it because I know the guys. How's that?
That as well. I mean, I do know the guy. He's a good dude. I haven't talked with him in a while because he's kind of he's doing like a metal thing now. I haven't talked to him recently, but yeah, no, he's a good dude. Also a good writer as well. Fred.
Metal thing, like metal music.
It's like black metal, so like those guys who like burned down, like Swedish guys like burned down churches back in the day.
Oh,
like
no.
That.
I thought you were trying to refer to my T-shirt because my T-shirt is a
not hair metal
hard rock band.
Yeah, I would say my metal taste is pretty normy. I mean, would you call Rush metal? Because I call them more like prog rock.
No, Metallica is metal. That's where basically where it comes from.
Or my friend Slay is like big into like black metal. I'm like, damn, dude.
I prefer hard rock, but like really hard rock, just on the edge of metal. But I don't like it when their voices get too much into the screaming.
Yeah.
To me, the voice is another instrument, which is why I never got into rap, because it's like you're taking a piano and then beating on it for percussion.
Pantera's good. I like Pantera.
Pantera. In fact, the band Bandmade is the band that I'm wearing. They actually covered a Pantera song. And then my latest favorite group started out about 10 years ago as three very young girls, like 9, 11, and 12 or something like that. They did a cover of Metallica. And it was
nice, Joe.
Really, really good. And now they're touring internationally. They're called The Warning, and they are awesome.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. I'm more into like prog rock and jazz music, and me and Demidrek have bonded over our mutual enjoyment of jazz music. But if you want the jazz conversations, Demidrek will get you covered. But yeah. People are like, "What?" Like, they'll play like a Miles Davis thing. And people are like, "What the fuck is that?"
I like a wide range of things, but the things I get excited about are basically girls playing hard rock.
So you're a fan of like wait, no, it's not the Ramones. Who were the people who sang Cherry Bomb? It was the Joan Jett's first band.
Joan Jett and the Black Hearts, Pat Benatar. Yeah.
No, but what was her first band? They were the people who sang Cherry Bomb. I'm forgetting the name.
Cherry Bomb. I don't remember.
Here, I'll look it up. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Beat you to it.
Oh, what does it say?
Nearby energy drink. I don't think this is the Cherry Bomb I was looking for.
Also, like Buckethead. Has any of you ever heard of The Runaways? That's right. Yes.
Yes.
It's like the comic book. That's oh my god. Okay. One of my have any of you ever heard of Buckethead? Have you ever listened to Buckethead? you think it'd be kind of gimmicky, you know, because it's just a dude in a little white mask. And he wears a Chick-fil-A, or not Chick-fil-A, wears a KFC bucket on his head, and he plays
No.
guitar, and he's freaking amazing at it. Like listen to hold on, let me find the album name because I'm blanking at the moment. My brain is not cooperating with me today. I mean, Electric Tears is a classic for sure. I think Electric Tears is great.
He's a young guy.
What the hell?
Yeah, Buckethead's a young guy. He's 56.
Where's the
progressive metal, new age jazz? Yeah, that sounds like in there. Oh, he was with Guns N' Roses? Okay.
Yeah, briefly. I don't know if he you know, but yeah, no, Electric Tears is great. I think it's a really good album. I'm thinking of the other one. What is it called? It's called Electric. It's Electric Sea. That's what it's called. That's a really underrated album. Really, really beautiful guitar playing, I thought.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses is fine. I'm not really not a fan of Axl Rose's voice. He sounds like a fucking grandma, you know? Like, get off my lawn, you damn kids. You know? Like, in my opinion. There's some of their songs that are pretty awesome, but, you know.
I get you.
God, man.
I get you.
What's that one they did? It's called, like, November Road. That was pretty good. I like that one. Because it's not Axl going like, yeah! You know? And you're like, oh, God.
Well, my favorite song right now is Automatic Sun by The Warning. There's one that they played at a concert in Mexico it's a wonderful video. It's a great song. It's heavy but not too heavy. It's got
I was so pissed.
Everything I love about music in that one, and their voices are really nice.
No, it is. I'm just saying. I just find the voice distracting. It was kind of like, you know, my friend Raph's a big metal fan. I asked him, I'm like, oh, do you like Metallica, or you think that's a bit normie? And he's like, they're fine. I can't get behind James Hetfield's voice. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fair.
Sure.
I don't mind his voice. I think he has a good voice for it. He's not like screaming. I think. I mean, I'm a fan of Black Album. That might be a normie pick. I also like Master of Puppets. That's a good one. It feels it's real fast, but you can tell it's not I
stuck it in chat for you.
They're not yelling. They're not like going
right.
They're not like, it's not yelling. It doesn't feel like they're yelling at you. Oh, he shared this in chat. I'll just share this in chat. So if anyone wants to follow that link and listen, there you go. But
yeah, that's my favorite song currently.
I also kind of like Motorhead. I generally wouldn't like that type of music. Like Ace of Spades is a classic, man. That's a good shit.
Yeah, I went through a period in my life where I had a record player in my room, and I would go to bed listening to Pink Floyd's The Wall every night.
Oh, man. I generally listen to jazz when I try to go to sleep. Like, damn. Like, that's a great album.
The Wall will do it to you, too. It's got some long stretches of more peaceful music.
That's true. Yeah. Like
great
Blue Sky. Goodbye, Blue Sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Comfortably Numb. That seems like a good one to go to sleep to.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't actually go to sleep until after the album was over. But
okay.
A lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that say the Division Bell's pretty good, but I just kind of lost interest once like the final cut came out, and I was like, it's okay. I don't know how far you've gotten with Pink Floyd, but I'm a big fan. They're my favorite band, so there you go.
I liked Pink Floyd a lot. The Wall was my favorite album for a while, but to be honest with you, I was more of a Styx fan. So like Cornerstone, Pieces of Eight.
I actually saw them in concert once with hold on, actually. Dad!
I saw them for the Kilroy concert.
Okay, yes, we did see Styx.
Yes, I saw Styx in the Kilroy concert. I also saw Bad English when Tommy Shaw was part of Bad English and they did Renegade, which is a famous Styx song. That was really good.
Yeah, I've also seen like the Steve Miller Band. That was fun. And Eddie Money, the late Eddie Money. That
Oh
was
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
He
You
was
know, the
barely
one,
singing. He was kind of just like just kind of talk singing.
yeah.
It was yeah, his voice was shot at that point.
There's one concert that taught me the difference between the new and up and coming and a long term professional. On MTV, we'd been watching Rat, and Rat had like a really good sound, and we were really looking forward to seeing Rat. And they were opening for Billy Squier, which his music was cool. Billy Squires, yay! But we wanted to see Rat, and so we got there, and Rat had this wall of speakers, and when they played, the interference between the speakers was nauseating, and it was, just not a pleasant experience. And then they tore all that down, and they left two giant speakers, one on each side. And the light show started, and Billy Squier came in and proceeded to teach us what experience meant, because his show was amazing. Any Billy Squier fans out there?
Yeah, I did almost see Billy Idol once, but he had to like get off because I don't know, I guess he was sick or something, and then Toto showed up, and we're just like, this is bullshit. Because my parents wanted to see Journey, and we ended up seeing Journey, which was fun. And yeah, and Toto was there. I'm not a big fan of Toto. I hate their song Africa. Like I just find it annoying.
Man, you're talking the music of my decade, though. That's '80s music.
He said he had things he was doing. I don't know if he'll pop in today. We'll see. So yeah, it's just me and Dennis at the moment talking about music.
Oh, such a letdown.
No, I mean, I like a lot of weird music. So I mean, I like 21 Pilots. I saw them in concert. Probably the best concert I've ever been to. Like they were fantastic. And I took my mom with me because it was a birthday present. I wanted to see them, in my hometown, and I did, and it was fantastic. My mom even admitted later it was the best concert she's ever been to. I'm like, are you sure you're not just saying that to placate me? She's like, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can humble brag about that for the rest of my life.
A couple of years back, my son-in-law took me to a concert in Philadelphia. Bandmate was doing their international tour, and so I got to see them on stage. That's the last concert I'll go to, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I kind of blame my dad for it because he introduced me to a lot of music he liked when he was younger. So, Pink Floyd. He's a big fan of The Wall, which isn't like the type of music I expected my dad to like. But he's like, oh man, have you seen the movie? I'm like, I've seen like clips of it. I haven't seen the actual whole thing all the way through. He's like, oh dude, it'll blow your mind. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Blackberry Smoke, but I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with somebody about country music the other day. I think it was actually Demidrick, and we were talking about how bad a lot of current country is.
I think everything goes through phases, and it also depends on what you like.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the original Hank Williams, and a lot of people are like, what the hell is that? Yeah, like that. There you go.
Yeah, when I was much younger, I used to listen to a lot of Leonard Skinner and Alabama and the Eagles. I didn't even consider them country. I didn't realize they were classified as country. I just liked the music.
Grew up with Metallica and Iron Maiden. I mean, a lot of people like Iron Maiden. A lot of people I think my dad's generation really likes. I mean,
no, not just your dad's generation. There's an author out there who's a friend of mine who shows up at every single convention he goes to in Iron Maiden t-shirts. That's all he is, different Iron Maiden.
That's some awesome
t-shirts.
album covers. I should note that.
Yeah.
You have some badass album covers.
I'm almost as bad because I wore Bandmate almost every time until I started going professionally, and then I started wearing actual shirts and stuff.
Yeah, no, I always wear like I wear my Pink Floyd shirts everywhere. It's ridiculous. Like I
Awesome.
remember we went to because Pink Floyd doesn't perform anymore because Roger Waters and David Gilmour can't stand each other. But I've seen like a couple of cover bands and they're really good. And there's one that was from Australia that was particularly a standout. And they had the inflatable pig for animals. They had an
Mhm.
inflatable kangaroo. So while they're singing and doing their thing, it would slowly like inflate. And me and my dad are like, "What the hell is that over there?" And then it was the big kangaroo. We're like, "Oh, that's a kangaroo right there. What's that?" Yeah, it's like it's nuts. I still
Yeah.
have their shirt because, like, I'm not I'm not particularly greedy about merchandise. I'm like, yo, if I can just get like a T-shirt, like I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah, I'm
T-shirt
big on
guy.
t-shirts because that's all I wear at home. Normal every day is a t-shirt and jeans or shorts.
Yeah, I like T-shirts.
But that's a holdover from my Navy days when when you got home, you didn't want to wear your uniform. You had to throw on something easy.
Yeah, I bet they made you wear like I don't know. You wear like
T-shirt and jeans.
yeah, I realized I probably wasn't made for the military because I watched stuff like Full Metal Jacket. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through.
I was in submarines, so if you want to find out what my life is like, you have to watch a documentary like Down Periscope.
Yes, I
My wife makes me wear clothes.
yeah, I can just see you running around with your underpants on, being like, "Woohoo, yeah."
Yeah, I know.
Um,
But have you seen Down Periscope?
I have not. I don't know if I've ever heard of that band actually.
No, not a band. A movie. Kelsey Grammer.
Oh no, haven't heard of it.
Most of us who have been in the Navy in the submarine force refer to it as a documentary. Uh, that is what submarine life is really like. It is much closer than anything else that I've seen.
Also, it's not a. I mean, I haven't seen Das Boat, but it's not like Das Boat.
Yeah, maybe in wartime it's more like that, but I didn't serve in a major war, and I served on boomers. And boomers are, they carry the nuclear missiles, and
Oh,
if we do
geez.
our job, we failed our mission. Our mission is to prevent nuclear war by threatening nuclear war.
Did you see the new?
So
Did you see the new Mission Impossible film? 'Cause, there's a scene where they're on the submarine. That dude with the mustache shows up.
actually, I watched the first few of those, and then just haven't really gotten into it.
Fair enough.
You know,
Yeah, I'm just kind of. It was kind of like John Wick Chapter 4. It kind of stretched my suspension of disbelief a bit. So I
yeah,
was kind of like, yeah.
some stories need to come to a close. Whereas in Hollywood, they will make new ones as long as people pay to see them, whether or not they're any good.
What's the thing? They're like most of the Mission Impossible films are good. So
Yeah, but they're not Mission Impossible. They're just action flicks for the star. You couldn't even make a Mission Impossible now without what's his name.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you can't make a Mission Impossible now without Tom Cruise. And the
I don't know
series,
about that, but I am going to be mentioning some of the comics I hope to be reading
but
in
in
20.
uh,
Oh,
in
sorry.
the original series, Peter Graves' character was not the center of the show. He was, the leader of the group, but the individuals all had their individual stories, and I think a lot of that's missing with these action flicks. That's why I kind of dropped off because it wasn't the Mission Impossible that I grew up with. Not to say they're not good movies, just saying not my thing.
Um, I will be making a video soon about books I hope to read in 2026 as well as comics. One, I don't know if Joe's still here, but if there's one I'm hoping to at least complete, because I read the first volume a few years ago, but that's Planetary by Warren Ellis and the late, unfortunately, John Cassaday. Who so I did consider reading Fables, but I'm not sure. So was that your book? There's your book. Oh, look at that! It's a little book.
Yeah, that's my plug. Yes,
Yeah, you can just read it, whatever. It's fine.
no pressure. I mean, knowing you might not like it. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm generally like pretty chill with books. Not well. I don't know. It depends. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I know John said that he went in with some expectations that this wasn't what he was expecting, and I found that was very interesting because I didn't realize that people would have expectations for what I was doing. But you know, um,
I don't know. I always got like a Mass Effect vibe from your books that I've heard from so far. I don't know if you even play video games or know what Mass Effect is, but
I know what Mass Effect is. I have never played that particular game. No, there's political intrigue, there's a serial killer mystery and confrontation, and there's other things going on. Um, Not as much violence as one might expect. In fact, the way my series goes is 4 books, and the level of violence increases each book, whereas the last book is literally the war story, where they're fighting over the pieces. Um, but it's the kind of book I like to read. It gives you new ideas and it explores some options, and you know, not everything, not every decision that's made by
yeah,
the good
I
guy.
do think I remember John talking about like greedy corporations doing
Oh
their
yeah,
greedy corporation things.
yeah. Well, the big bads in this one are the Corporate Federation, which is the federation of corporations that won the big war 50 years earlier that destroyed the Earth, because the Earth governments were trying to exert too much control over the corporations, and they fought back, literally.
I mean, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. And this is basically the rise of the automated empire, which will rise on the ashes of the corporate federation.
Oh dear, that's well, okay.
Yes, just saying.
There's a lot of suspense.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun writing these stories. Um, Originally planned as a trilogy. When I got my first professional author or editor, she went in and she pointed out that at the 60-40 mark, um, when all the characters move to a different location and start different storylines, that was actually the beginning of a second book. And so we split the book, and I filled them out and added more characters to make a full 4-book trilogy.
Trying to see if anyone else is streaming. No? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I know Tudor Ramble was streaming earlier, and I'm like, oh, well, that's unfortunate timing. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm debating going back to streaming my writing process again. It was more motivational than I thought it was going to be. To have people pop in once in a while, say hi while I was actually writing. Um, it helped me keep moving forward. Are you getting tired?
No, I was just scratching my eye.
No, you look like you're getting tired. You want to go take a nap?
Nah, I think I'm a bit too young for that.
Caught me.
He does ask, when you say automated empire, is there an automated emperor involved?
You'll have to read the books. Just saying. You'll have to read the books.
Well, since you ask, I'm still I'm probably gonna finish editing my book. I'm gonna see if I can try and put it out sometime during the 2026 year. But we'll see. Because, I try not to give any dates because I don't want to get people excited, and I'll be like, oh, nope, never mind. And people are like, no, Britton. I want to turn it into a Patrick Rothfuss situation. Yes. But also I'm working at a radio station, so I'm still doing that. I'm still gonna be doing that. I actually contacted one of my higher ups over there about when we're actually gonna get back to working, because didn't want to hassle him. But yeah, so probably just gonna catch up on a lot of stuff. I have more time for reading now, so that's good.
It's always nice to have that.
Also, my dad's like, I'm gonna teach you some more life skills. I'm like, oh, excellent. So, you mean hold on, let me pull it out. It's called the Dark Star trilogy, but the first book is Black Leopard, Red Wolf. Very excellent. What's funny about this? I'm reading A Sword of Bronze and Ashes right now by Anna Smith Spark, and it's called Grim Dark, and it's not like a gritty fantasy though. It's more like a dark fantasy. It actually reminds me a lot of this book, where it's very like, it is gritty, but there's also like this very mythical edge to it, where it actually feels fantastical, and it's not just like, oh, here's a snarky British people in a fantasy setting. It's so but yeah, this book's great. Black Leopard, Red Wolf. Moon Witch, Spider King is also good, though. You could actually read either or book first, because the pitch of the series is it's the same story being told by 3 different people who were involved in the event. Also, hello, John. Yes, I know. It's radio's kind of a strange thing. I was actually on my podcast a few months ago, and the guy's like, oh, so you're running like a tricycle? You're going to be working with tricycles as well? I'm like, yeah, fuck you. But yes, it's I work there, trying to see if I can get something at a news situation. Because I do have a degree in journalism. I got to put that to some use. I don't want
reporter. Actually, what I've seen recently, a lot of reporters are coming off of the networks and going and doing podcasts.
Yes, they have. What's your book about? It's a fantasy story about a guy who gets into a situation because he beats up a guy he wasn't supposed to. It's part of the religious organization in this world. Which takes place in a ersatz colonial setting. And one of the other religious guys are like, hey, if you help me solve this problem, I'll let you go. Whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. Because he realizes he doesn't have a choice. And it's basically like a small town mystery. There's some eldritch weirdness going on. Fun time.
My chat froze.
Who the hell even is James O'Keefe? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, sounds like an author.
John always saying weird shit.
Which one's John?
Momo Gen X. That's who that is. His name's John Stevenson, who gave me his book, by the way, which is like a weird, I don't know.
I don't even see him in the chat.
Oh, he's not there? Oh,
maybe he's blocked me. I don't know.
I see what you did there, Tharnell. I see what you did there. It's hold on. It's this guy right here. So I don't know who James O'Keefe is. Let me look. Maybe you need to reload it. I don't know. O'Keefe.
See, now you're yawning. I mean, dead giveaway. It's nap time, man.
No, I don't know. I'm just chilling, bro. I didn't sleep very well last night, to be honest with you. Project Veritas. I don't know what the hell that is, but
Yeah, no.
oh, it's a far right. He's a far right guy. Okay, that's that. Why doesn't that surprise me? Because John's always talking about far right wing stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good to know.
Right. Oh, I don't know. You could always do investigative journalism about authors and author events.
That's always true. I could do that. You know, I've definitely seen like a bunch of people who've like interviewed authors. I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I could do that. I probably have to I'd have to you know, go other places, which, you know, I don't really want to move away from Oklahoma because I actually like living out here. But
Well, you don't really have to. In today's day and age, almost everybody has Zoom or, I don't even have StreamYard and I logged in just fine.
yeah, that's
All you
true.
got to do is get the author to say yes to it.
That's true. Yeah, I've been surprised by some of the authors, some people I've known. Like my friend Griftkin gets like
Yeah.
everybody. It's ridiculous.
And
Like he even managed to contact like Edgar Wright. I'm like, that's ridiculous. How did he even do that?
you reach out to them. And hint, Ed Myers, Grifkin, is a nice guy, so you can ask him to help.
Be like, hey Griffkin, could you get me in contact with Scott Lynch? Maybe like that would be nice, so I can grill him about what's going on with the gentleman bet. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, no, I did see on his website he has an email. I'm like, yeah, I have to see.
There was a night when Grifkin was interviewing a friend of mine, Teresa Frohock,
Mhm.
and his brother was in there. And so I invited my cousin, Tom Myers. So there are like four Myers in the chat.
Yeah, this the Red Winter sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's you know, then again, I've always been fascinated with the Beast of Gavaron, as they call it, because it's about because it's kind of a real life werewolf, and I really like werewolves. Again, even though it probably wasn't a werewolf, it was just you know, crazy country people. Want good If you want good fantasy, it has to have sandaled feet, giant snake, and lamentation of women. Well, I do have the Conan volumes over there, so I got you covered. I don't know, Dennis. It's oh yeah, I was thinking about reading American Rust this year as well. I don't know. It's kind of so many books, so
Have
little
you
time. You know what I mean?
have you read 1984?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's real good. I read it in 8th grade, which I probably shouldn't have read it in 8th grade, but I did, and you know, it was a good experience.
I had a high school class where they had a list of books you were allowed to read, and 1984 was on the list, and I chose it not because really I wanted to read it, but because I had already read it twice, which meant the book report was really easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it from a song called YOLO from these people called The Lonely Island. I'm like, oh, what's that? And I ended up finding it and I read it and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary, but it's kind of like, all right, nice.
It's scary when you start seeing some of the things in the book happening in real life.
Is that right? Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
Shogun. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I read. Yeah, Great Gatsby is my favorite
Yeah.
book. So I mean, there you go. I mean, I read it at like the right time. I read it. I was about 7th or 8th grade, and I read it, and I was like, oh my god, this book makes me want to write something like that. Even though there's plenty of people who are like, oh, it's about all these stuffy rich people, and I'm like, yes, yes, it is. It's precisely what
I,
it's about.
when I was about 17 years old, my mother handed me a book by what I have now learned is a famous science fiction author. And I didn't like the book. I couldn't get into it. I thought it was just, I didn't like it. And that's when I had the thought that, well, maybe I can do this. I mean, I think I could do a better job than that book. And that's what got me started down the path of actually becoming an author. So I guess everybody finds motivation different ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I read that. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really care for Catcher in the Rye. I know that oh god, what's her name? Vera. I know Vera quite enjoys it, which like that's wonderful. I'm real glad to hear that, but I just thought it was really dry. Or actually no, dry is not the right word. It's very rambly, which I know it's written by like a kid. So, yeah,
Hmm.
you're going to get what you're going to get, but still kind of annoying. And he's like, "Oh, look at all these phonies." And I'm just like, "Oh my god. Okay."
Yeah.
That's like I was annoyed by that even when I was in high school. It's probably not going to grow on me anytime soon. He's like, "Oh, but look at all these phonies." I'm just like, "Oh my god." Just,
Yeah.
like it's one of those books like really insufferable people quote a lot. Like them and like Nietzsche. Like everyone all the insufferable people like Nietzsche.
Yeah. No. I think in terms of philosophy and spirituality, Richard Bach is where I headed to early on. Um, my fourth grade teacher read us Jonathan Livingston Seagull in fourth grade. And that was my first experience. And you'll notice there's a copy of it sitting on my shelf right there. And I read many other of his books, and they're all books that designed to make you think about things. Not to tell you how things are, but just to get you to think. And I really appreciated that.
Apparently he survived an airplane crash.
Who?
Richard Bach.
Hmm. Yeah.
The Ferret Chronicles? The hell is that? Oh well, like okay. I guess it's about animals. Nice. It's like kind of like Redwall. Did you ever read Redwall?
Nope.
All right then.
Red Illusions, though. That's the one with the blue feather. And I did the blue feather experiment, and it worked. And I have thoughts about that.
Yeah, I generally don't read like self-help stuff. I find it quite
It's
obnoxious.
it's more than that. It tells a story along with the. It, you just have to take my word for it. It's not preachy at all.
It's basically
It's
like, oh, if you ever do this, this will change your life. And I'm just like, oh my
no,
god, no,
no. It's
stop.
not telling you to do it. It's one character telling another about this process. It's more of a story than an instruction manual. But I did it anyway. Yeah.
I grew up with Red. Well, Demodrek knows what Redwall is at least. Shit was goaded. All right, I see. Yeah. That's true. He did do that. He's actually now doing damn it. What's that? Freaking Carl May. Yeah, Carl May. My brain is just not working right now. But yes, it's yes, he's doing Carl May right now, or Karlmas is what it's called. Uh I haven't read Redwall. It sounds like something I would like because animals doing fantasy stuff sounds really awesome.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I don't know. Animals doing fantasy shit sounds pretty cool to me. You know.
I have a story that you might be interested in if I ever get around to reading it or writing it. Set 250 million years in the future, when humans and all of the uplifted other races of Earth decide to move off of Earth, turn it back into a garden world, and let the smaller animals evolve. And so the story is about a young girl who's a squirrel and the adventure she goes on. So you might like that one then.
I mean, to be fair, I am about to read We Three by Grant Morrison,
Okay.
which is about cyborg animals. So
Yeah.
there you go. I mean, what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, John does love his psychedelic drugs, and Demodrek likes them too. I attract an interesting audience. I'll just say that.
Mm.
Like I'm friends with a guy who's a Cormac McCarthy scholar, and my friend Jason, who's also a big McCarthy fan. He's like, "You have some odd friends." Or actually, no, it was I was talking with one of my other friends who was my former English teacher. I was telling him about some of the people I've met in my life, and he just goes, "You have weird friends."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I do.
Well, good. The more variety you have in your friends, the more opinions and ideas you can process and think through. You know, that's the way I look at it.
He's in Virginia. Very nice. It's I've heard Virginia, or actually I have been to Virginia. I've been to Virginia Beach, which is quite nice.
It's okay. I lived there, so I have a different opinion. I live in Glen Allen,
You
which
kind
is
of bored with it after a while when you live there.
no. It's just there's a difference between going there as a tourist and living there.
Hmm.
It's like Atlantic City. You go to Atlantic City, you hit the casinos, you stay inside, hit the boardwalk. It's all these big, beautiful buildings, but like 2 blocks inland, you get the desolation that's left in the shadow of the buildings. It's very, very different. And Virginia Beach can be a lot like that. It's more suburban in some areas, but then some areas just really aren't that great.
Well, I can't say I've had someone I've known somebody who's done that. I mean, I've met like drug addicts. I've met like writers of like weird like experimental fiction and you know like weird like hard like right wing people, weird hard line left wing people. I've met a lot of strange people in my life.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you get for surfing on the internet a lot.
Hey, did you ever read Driver by Sebastian Weiss?
I don't believe I have. No.
Very short, very short book. It's a novella, basically, but it's very dense and intense. And I found it fascinating and a really good story.
I'll have to look that up. Driver is what you said it's called?
Yeah, by Sebastian Weiss.
Oh, I think I know that guy. Yeah, no, he's on
Yeah,
the Talking Story server, isn't he?
yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. I know you know him. You've been there.
What am I? I don't, my brain. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm
It's
doing right
okay.
now. I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I read Driver and I was really impressed. I really liked that
Yeah,
story.
he was kind of a yeah. He's also kind of an oddball, but in a very interesting way. That sounds right up my alley too. It's a
Yeah.
it's a crime book. Oh my god, I gotta get this.
Yeah. There you
How's it
go.
going, Colton? How you doing? We're just
Found
chilling out and
something
talking
you
about
like.
the odd people you end up meeting in your life.
Yeah, and that's why I thought of Sebastian. He's a little odd, but really fascinating, and the book is amazing. Even though it's a novella, it's so dense and so intense. It's like you expect a half a cup of coffee, and what you're getting is a double shot of espresso.
Yeah, it kind of feels like I don't really like coffee. It makes me feel like crap every time I
Just
drink
an
it.
analogy, dude. An analogy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I just get really sorry. Anyway, no. But that sounds right up my alley though. I'll have to read that at some point.
Yeah, go for it.
Be like, hey Sebastian, I'm gonna go get your book. He's like, yeah, boy. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm also hoping to, because noir self pub is not like a big thing. My friend John Davis wrote something called Muscle a while back. I'm like, I want to read that. So
I'm not sure if that's self pub or if it's small press. It might be small press.
I mean, Demidrek, he's a musician. So I mean, all I'm saying is I've met some eccentric characters in my life so far. Do I regret it? No, I wouldn't say I regret it. No, some of those people I'm like, they're doing their thing over there, and I'm doing my thing over here. But yeah, it was always funny. I was at work. I used to work at a newspaper, my college's newspaper, and they paid me money.
Mm.
And a lot of the like weird like people that nobody liked, they always talked to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, probably because I was just super polite to them, and I didn't want to be mean. And some of them were actually pretty interesting people.
Or it could be that you're easy to talk to.
Well, I try. I remember I was telling my mom about this. I'm like, God, why are all these freaking weirdos talking about? It's like, why do they always hang out with me? And your mom's like, you know what? Because you're a kind person. I'm like, you know what? Okay. Well, okay. I want to read that one. I do. I like Joe Lansdale. If I've who's barely talked about on YouTube, by the way, unless like John will be like, hey, check out Joe Lansdale. And I'm like, yes, Hap and Leonard is great. You should watch the show, read the books, good stuff. I read his book, The Thicket, good book as well. It's basically like a more violent version of True Grit. Have a go at it. Joe Lansdale's great. Also, hillbilly noir is a fun little subgenre. I actually got Knock 'em Stiff. I read that a few years ago. Which is kind of like about hillbillies in Ohio, and it's really weird, and it's quite good though. Anyway, I'll have to pick up Sebastian's book because that sounds really interesting. Yeah, Thicket is really fun. I really enjoy that book. I mean, it does kind of feel like, Lansdale. You kind of get the gist of Lansdale after a while. You're like, oh, okay, it's like, oh, it's the kind of oddballs. Oh, it's the guy who's kind of figuring out life isn't as simple as he thinks it is, stuff like that. It's like, you're like, oh, okay. But like when he's on like a zone, like when he's doing like when he's able to like combine the like dark stuff with the humor, oh man, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I might add Edge of Dark Water because I'm going to be reading a lot of crime books this year because I'm kind of burned out on epic fantasy at the moment. I was actually talking with Steve Donahue about this. He's like, "How does that work?" And I'm just like, I'm just like, well, when you read a lot of fantasy, you start seeing like the tropes and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you're just like, I just kind of want to do something different. Well, this year I'm doing something I'm going to read like standalone fantasy. So I'm not kicking fantasy to the curb or anything. I still love fantasy.
There you go.
But I'm not going to be reading a lot of series. Well, one exception. I'm going to be reading Jade City, but that's because it sounds weird enough where I can kind of go like, okay, I can get away with this. At least in my opinion. I don't know if you've ever felt the same way, Dennis, but
No, because like I said, I focused in on science fiction and fantasy early, like high school. Um,
River Adventure, you say? Oh, say no more. I'm gonna pick this up as soon as possible. Then,
yeah,
sorry, Dennis, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's okay. So I never really got tired of it because what I found is by going to different authors, you get different voices, you get different types of science fiction. Like Flowers for Algernon is science fiction, but it is very grounded in today. Um, Whereas something like, I don't know, a Star Trek book is off of Star Trek series, or um, other things like, or like the Sun Eater series, which takes you, 20,000 to billions of years in the future. It is, you get different stories from different authors. So I'm okay that way. Plus, at this point in my life, I'm trying to learn from these people more. I enjoy the story, but I'm constantly going, ooh, I wouldn't have said it that way, or I wouldn't have done this, or that's not how I would have ended the book. It's a good ending, but that's not how I would have ended it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be giving advice because I haven't actually published anything yet. But I always tell people who want to write, I'm like, just read, just do that. Like,
Yeah,
don't read it. You don't have to read any how to write books. I mean, if you want to, go nuts. But
yeah. I don't think
if you
you
want
could
to do
really
that, go
be.
nuts. I don't personally like doing that. I find that can limit you as a writer. Ironically enough, that I've seen that happen to friends of mine
Mhm.
who like those type of books and have kind of limited them. I at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
But my advice is just read a lot
yeah.
and understand what you're reading. Go like, okay, what did they do well? What did they not do well?
The
All that
the
fun
other
stuff.
thing, the other thing is
Nope.
just get started writing. Actually, go sit down and start writing, because every author, their process for writing is different. And what you need to find as early as you can is what it takes for you to finish a novel. And then once you do that, get yourself a real editor. Whether or not you get a publisher, get an editor, and that will help you polish the book even before you start trying to sell it. Uh, Unfortunately, that's a little expensive.
So is he actually like Native American or is he like Indian from like India? My mom would put it in a much different way that is much less politically correct. So, we'll just ignore that for now. Love you, mom. If you watch this, I love you, mom.
What I think is fascinating about today's age, especially when it comes to indie music, is you can get a channel on YouTube for free, and you can post videos of your music for free. Uh, Very small expense might be a Canva subscription to do your thumbnails and to put the videos together with the soundtrack, but you can do music videos almost free now. And when you do,
Yeah, it's quite interesting how vast the internet has grown.
yeah, I mean, I still remember when what that some kid was on doing dancing and all of that, and he got like famous online before he ever started doing concerts and being famous. I forget his name,
I
but you'd know who I was talking about.
Yes, I have read Between Two Fires. I liked it. I do think it is Buellman's best book. I mean, I don't like to yuck on people's yum, anything like that, but I read The Black Tongue Thief, and in all honesty, I really don't know what people saw in that book. I thought it was kind of boring. But hey, if you like that book, that's wonderful. I'm glad for you, you know? Life's too short for me to crap on things that you like. But yes, I have read Between Two Fires. It's a good book. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
it's his most I think it's his most consistently good book. It's not where he's just, you know, he does something weird that just totally alienates me.
Hmm.
Which I don't know if you've read authors like that, Dennis, where you're like, oh, I kind of like where this is going, and he just does something weird. And you're like, oh no, why'd you do that?
Like I said, when I was 17, I read that one science fiction novel that just completely turned me off. But that is what got me thinking I could do it. But then
What book
there
is that?
are
I'm curious. Do you even remember what it was called, or do you not even remember anymore?
I do remember, and I won't say
Oh, okay. Is it famous?
because that's not the point, and I don't want to say something. The author has passed away. And I
Oh,
don't,
well, okay.
and I've read other works of fiction by them, and they were okay, you know. But still, the point is the motivation can come from anywhere.
Hold on a minute. So you're still reading Will of the Many? Good God, man. You know what's funny? I was at the bookstore yesterday and I actually saw Will of the Many and I thought of you, Dimitrak. I'm like, oh God, he's just he's just doing his thing over there.
Yeah, I would like to ask Demidrek if their name is translatable in German.
I think it's a Malazan reference, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've read Malazan at all, but
I have not, but I took German in high school, so I know a few of the words.
hey, there's some good long books. Like, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell is fantastic. Excellent book.
Mm-hmm.
Super long, but well worth the time. At least
They
I
did
thought
a
so.
mini series of that one. It was pretty good. Yeah. Oh
Uh,
man, it's past 5:30 here, so it is getting close to my dinner time.
oh, well, if you need to drop, you feel free. That's okay. Thank you for
Well, I
joining me,
feel
Dennis.
guilty because there's nobody else here, man.
That's all right. So I don't know. I mean, it's fine, but you know,
Yeah.
I'll see
Well,
if my friend Alex is doing over here.
okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you again,
Always good
and
hearing from you.
I'm looking forward to hearing your response to Driver by Sebastian Weiss.
Yeah,
Looking forward to that.
you got me really interested in that book. Thank you for pointing that my way, Dennis.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right, take care, Dennis. Now I am by myself. Hello again, everyone. Hope everyone's doing okay. It's actually kind of cloudy out today where I'm at in Oklahoma City. Um, but I hope everyone else is doing okay. But it seems kind of uh seems like everyone's kind of dying down a little bit. So I'm probably gonna take off now. Um so thank you to everyone who joined in. I'm probably gonna get off for a while because I have some stuff I want to read. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hold on. Let me see over here. Okay. But anyway, take care, everyone. Hopefully, you guys have a good week. Well, I'll see you guys. Well, I'm gonna be posting the podcast tomorrow, so I'll see you guys then.